Welcome to No Stats, what we call it how we see it.
Back again with another one.
We are back again, good brother, and we are wrapping up the NFC West today. But before we get into our last and final team of this division, as always, viewers, make sure y'all like, share, leave all the comments, the good, the bad, the ugly. We want to hear it all. Ring that bell, and also subscribe so y'all can stay in touch and in tune with everything that me and Peach going to continue to drop. NFL, NBA. The list goes on and on and on. So make sure y'all staying up to date and subscribe and ring that bell.
1 month away, baby. 1 month away.
Watch the handle, it takes skill. We gotta run it back. We in the field, and you said it takes that. You in your field, we looking for the facts. Let's keep it real, yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats.
All right, brother. We in San Fran. As I mentioned, we wrapping up this division, bro. 49ers. All right, it's been a team that's been near the top a lot in these past couple seasons, right? NFC Championship games, lost in the Super Bowl not too long ago to the Chiefs, and been winning this division, outside of that Rams Super Bowl run. But they've been there, bro, and with average quarterback play, if you will, with Jimmy G and, now Brock Purdy, who came in and set the league on fire last year, had kind of a Linsanity run, if you will, but even kept it going throughout the playoffs, right? So kept it going throughout the playoffs, got them to the NFC Championship game before getting hurt, and them getting blown out by the Eagles. And a lot of people feel like if they would have had their quarterback, it could have been a totally different ball game. So what the 49ers do, they go out and they get every quarterback available to ensure it doesn't happen again.
Down. I like the Sam pickup. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted, I should say. I think Sam Darnold's a phenomenal backup, phenomenal insurance policy for this team. If things was to go left, I think Sam can go in there and win some games, man, if things don't work out with Brock.
But the question is, bro, is Sam the backup or is Trey Lance the backup? You got a guy in Trey Lance who you drafted, third overall? You traded Jimmy G. Well, you was willing to get off of Jimmy G, right, because you had Trey Lance, and Trey Lance was supposed to be your future. He goes down. You're forced to put Brock Purdy in the game. And then Brock Purdy plays so well that you're like, all right, this is our guy. So is Trey Lance your two? You bring in Sam Darnold. They also bring in, he's not under the key additions, but they bring in Brandon Allen. So they got 4 quarterbacks in that room right now. I don't know. Brock Purdy's the guy. That's what I've been hearing. But to jump on some of these losses, they lose Jimmy Ward. Safety, I think that's a big loss
Huge,
there.
Man, I'm a huge Jimmy guy, man. That hurts.
Yeah, Jimmy Ward's a beast. So they lose Jimmy Ward, bro. Of course, they lose Jimmy G. They lose Samson Ebukam, if I'm saying that right, on the defensive end. They also lose Emmanuel Mosley, and they lose Mike McGlinchey, right tackle, to Denver. But they add to this defense, though, bro. They bring in Javon Hargrave, who was a top 5 pass rusher from that defensive interior spot, played well in the run game from Philly, coming off of a Super Bowl appearance. They bring in Cleveland Farrell from Vegas. As you mentioned, Sam Darnold. They get some offensive line pieces to fill in and replace some guys. They get cornerbacks through. So they replacing these guys that they lost. And they also bring in Jair Brown. They draft him out of Penn State to come in and fill in that and help out that safety room. So they add some pieces. And this is one of the most well-coached football teams in the NFL, bro. Kyle Shanahan has been, having this team, like I said, at the top of that mountain, winning games religiously in the playoffs. It's uphill quarterback play. Deebo Samuel. They got Christian McCaffrey. They got George Kittle. They got Brandon Ayuk. They still have Trent Williams on their offensive line, who may be the best offensive lineman in football. They got the pieces, bro. This is the most talented roster in all of football, bro.
Man. It's crazy. I mean, even to mention outside of the the main guys in that wide receiving core. You still got Warren Jennings, you got Ray McCloud, who's a phenomenal deep threat. But they got so many weapons that they can throw at you, and then you add all the defensive figures. This offseason, the ghost of
Fred Warner,
Nick Bosa, and Fred. Like that's a
bro.
lot. I'm not surprised, like you said. Like this team's been, they've been knocking on that door the last few years, man. That NFC Championship game, to have a Super Bowl bid. Niners, man, they're looking crazy.
Yeah, bro. And like I said, they add Javon Hargrave. I think that's the biggest addition to this squad. You put him on that line, bro, with Nick Bosa and with Armstead, right? I'm getting that right. But you add some pieces to this team that just makes the defense more dangerous. Now, they do lose DeMeco Ryans, who's the Texans head coach. So they do lose their defensive coordinator. But they bring in Steve Wilkes, I believe, from Carolina, who's a defensive guy and who should be able to come in and fill that role seamlessly. Let me just make sure it's Steve Wilkes. I don't want to be wrong. Yeah, they bring in Wilkes, who I thought actually did well in Carolina. I was surprised he got fired. But I think he'll come in and he'll fit in pretty well to the squad. All right, bro. We jumping into the schedule?
Yeah, you got something else for me? Let's get in tune with it, man. Let's see how they leveled out.
Let's jump in, bro. So, last season, 13-4, bro. And before we jump into the schedule, I want to point something out because this is ridiculous. This doesn't usually happen. It's an anomaly. The NFL likes the 49ers a lot. So I just want to point this out real fast, bro. According to PFN's, this is Pro Football Network's strength of schedule model, the 49ers have the 15th most difficult schedule in the NFL. So they're right in the middle. For a team that's won their division and got to the NFC Championship game, it's kind of sweet. They also have the easiest. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
They also have the easiest schedule inside their own division, despite having a first place schedule. So the 49ers should have a huge advantage given their roster dominance and easy schedule.
Who has the easiest schedule in the NFL right now?
I can bring that up right now. Sorry, Niners fans.
Just need to see real fast. I like middle of the pack for you guys. It's all right.
Yeah, real fast. Let me get this answer for Peach. The Saints have the easiest schedule.
Okay.
Yep, Saints followed by the Falcons, Colts, Panthers, and it's saying the Niners are fifth. So this is saying, I guess it's different strength of schedule models. This is another one I'm looking at. Hold on, let me go to Pro Football Network because that's who I was just
getting the rankings right. This is exactly. a typical Niners schedule right here. I think start slow, but the way they finish this season is wow.
It is strong. It is, bro. I can't pull it up, but yeah, I think the Saints got the easiest strength of schedule. But let's jump in. Sorry, Niners fans, excuse us for that. But you start the year off in Pittsburgh, and for some reason, bro, the Steelers are a team that they play well, bro. Week 1, they've been getting hard games to start. 2 years ago, they played Buffalo, the first game of the season. I believe they beat the Bills, and this was when the Bills was, coming into their own. Last year, they played the Bengals. I was at that game. And they beat the Bengals in a weird, wonky game that went into overtime. Joe Burrow threw like 4 picks. It was weird. And now they got to play San Fran at home, coming off their heartbreaking loss to the Eagles. And I just think Pittsburgh going to pull this one out and get the dub, man. So they start the season off 0-1. And they also have to go back on the road against the Rams, a team who's looking to rebuild, right? We just spoke about the Rams. In that Rams video, go check that out if y'all haven't yet. And they get Matthew Stafford back healthy. They get Aaron Donald back healthy. Cooper Kupp back healthy. Sean McVay is familiar with Kyle Shanahan's game plan, familiar with this team. And I think they get that W. I think the Rams get that W as well. So you're starting the season off 0-2. And you can already see the headlines. You can already see the media talking about, is Brock Purdy the guy? Should they go Trey Lance? What's changing? Why isn't this 49ers team doing what they're supposed to do. All of the stuff that I heard as a Bengals fan last year at
Usual
0-2.
media.
Yeah, but pump the brakes. They had to go on the road, fly Pittsburgh all the way back over to West Coast, and play a division rival. So that's just a tough start to the season. But then they rattle off 4 straight wins, right? They beat the Giants. They get 3 straight home games, bro. They beat the Giants. They beat the Cardinals. They beat the Cowboys. Back to back to back. Cowboys, they just seem to have the Cowboys numbers. So I think they handled them, and then they beat the Browns on the road as well. I think defensively they're going to slow the Browns down. And the Browns play the game that San Fran wants you to play. So I think that's 4 wins. And then they get into another little tough stretch, right? They got to go to Minnesota. A Vikings offense that's high-powered. I know a lot of people, got certain views on Kirk Cousins, right? But albeit the guy puts up numbers, they have the best wide receiver in the league from a production standpoint, Justin Jefferson, who's going to be hard to cover. They hoping, the rookie Jordan Addison can come in and help out. And I like Kevin O'Connell over there. And his play calling. So I think the Vikings can upset them at home. We seen the Vikings do it to the Bills last year in Buffalo, so it's not like they can't win a big game against a tough team. And then San Fran plays the Bengals at Week 8. Now, I would give the 49ers the win here, but the Bengals are coming off a bye, and I only know that because I'm a Bengals fan. But the Bengals is coming off a bye, and they got 2 weeks to prepare for San Fran. And I think that tips the scale slightly in the Bengals' favor. This could be a 49ers win, but I'm giving the Bengals the benefit of the doubt just off of quarterback play alone. I know the last time they played, the 49ers did win in overtime, but I think that was 2 years ago. So I think the Bengals pull this one out, and they go into the bye 4-4. There's still calls for panic around the league. People are like, the 49ers are 4-4. Can the Rams or can the Seahawks win this division? But how you like the wins and losses, the record at the bottom?
I love it, bro. I like to start out through the first 2 weeks. That travel is going to be grueling. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for them to get their footing under them. I love the 4-game win streak. And then I like the halt at the end there before going into the bye, because I think this team all year in the beginning, it's going to be a lot of questions around that quarterback situation. And I think it's going to take them, losing a few games, going into that bye, being able to regroup for them to sit down and be like, all right, which quarterback is going to be our guy going forward? And I think when they make that decision, as you can see by the schedule, they only lose 1 game after the bye week. And I think this team locks in on who's ever under center at the time. And I think they get things rolling then.
I agree, bro. And like you said, bro, taking a look at that schedule after the bye, I think they'll use that bye week to go, all right, let's remember who we are. Let's remember what we got to do. Let's remember the end goal. Block out all the media. Sometimes that bye week is so much needed for the team, for them to, get their ducks in a row, figure out what they want, like you said. Then they come off that bye, albeit in Jacksonville. But like we said, how talented this ball club is, man. I think they go into Jacksonville and they get that W. Then they play Peaches Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Who I said before this, on record, don't be surprised if the Bucs get this one. Bucs fans just into the comments.
He's 49ers fan. He talking about in Madden. He got a franchise in Madden that he got the Bucs. He not talking about in real life. Going there, they wipe the floor with the Bucs. But then week 12, they're at Seattle. And I think they kind of, not on purpose, because they understand that Seattle is dangerous and they have the potential of beating them. But that San Fran Eagles, after that game, that playoff game last year in the NFC Championship, Pete, stop yawning. Pete's tired. 49ers fans, man, kill him in the comments.
Cut me a break, y'all. Cut me a break. It's late over here on the East Coast.
Yeah, no, seriously. But that there's some tension in that Eagles game, bro. And I think they'll be looking forward to that game, and I can see them slipping a little bit and letting Seattle get that dub. But week 13, I think they'll be ready, albeit in Philly. I think the 49ers going to come out ready to revenge their loss in some type of way. Quick side note, I was watching Kevin Hart called his balls, and Deebo Samuel was on. And, Kevin Hart from Philly, so he was making a lot of jokes about the Eagles beating the 49ers. And you seen that they had to clip up some of the show.
Wait, why?
Because it seemed like Deebo wasn't trying to talk about it. And then at the end, Kevin Hart he circled back to the Eagles conversation. He was like, well, good luck this year to the 49ers unless when y'all play the Eagles. And he was like, apparently you can't say nothing about the Eagles to Deebo Samuel because he doesn't play that. So I know they had to cut that off. And I was like, oh, he feels some type of way about that. So I think there's a rivalry going on there, and I think they'll be trying to get that win. Jumping back on board, Week 14 at home against Seattle. I think that's a W. Week 15, they're on the road against the Cardinals. I think that's a W. They come back home. Yeah, that is going to be a mauling. They come back home for the Ravens. I think that's a W as well. Then they go to Washington to play the Commanders. I think that's a W. In Week 18, they get the win against the Rams. So they finish the season off, bro, with a 6-game win streak, and they win 8 of their last 9. And just one game shy of last year's record. They go 12-5. They still win this division. And I think this gets you a 2 seed in the NFC. So you don't get the bye, but you get the weaker of the opponents in the wild card, and you're on your way back to the same place where you were last year. You can get those 2 wins in the NFC Championship game and hopefully revenge your loss and get to a Super Bowl. But 12-5, bro. What you think about that?
I like it, man. I like the finish strong mentality on this one, especially for this Niners ball club. And I can see a rematch in that second round, or however you want to play it, with the NFL playoffs with the Cowboys. They played the Cowboys last year, right?
They did.
Yeah, I would love to see that, man. I would definitely love to see that.
They played the Cowboys the last 2 years in the playoffs, man. That's why I said the Cowboys haven't been able to get over that hump. Yeah, and I mean, we know what the 49ers bring. We know the 49ers are going to be, when they're going to win this division. I feel like they're going to be right at the top with the NFC. They're them and the Eagles, and you could throw the Cowboys in the mix, but they're the teams that are the class of the NFC. So not too much of a surprise. That's why Peach was yawning, because it's easy for the 49ers at this point. I helped you out there, bro. See, I got you.
Oh, man.
He was yawning because he was like, we're going to run through this.
Oh, man.
But as always, bro, what loss would you change to a win? And what win would you change to a loss?
Look at this. I'm going to change, and you kind of sold me on this one our last recording on the Rams about the Commanders. You're riding high. You just beat the Eagles. You beat the Seahawks. You pounded on the Cardinals. You beat a tough Ravens team. Are you going to be sleeping in Week 17 in Washington against the Commanders? I could see them possibly dropping that game, riding high. That's one win that I was interested in flipping with no bias in there. Because I was going to either go for the Bucs or the Bengals. But one loss that I would change to a win is that Week 2 at the Rams. I think as battle-tested as this Niners ball club is, after taking a Week 1 loss to Pittsburgh, I think this is a team that could bounce back. The Rams getting everybody back is probably going to be trying to find their footing as well. So who knows how they come out in that Week 2 game as well. So that's one L that I would change to a W on the Niners side.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with Week 2. This is a game I'm kind of giving the Rams with them getting everybody back healthy and kind of an upset victory in Week 2. So if I had to change a loss to a win, that was the one my eyes went straight to, that Week 2 game with the Rams. Now, if I had to change a W to a loss, coincidentally, it'll be Week 18 against the Rams. So I think they can win Week 2, right, and be in a position in Week 18 where the game is kind of meaningless for the 49ers, right? And having dealt with the injuries at quarterback that they had last year, they go, listen, We got the 2 seed. There's no way we can get to the 1. There's no way we can bump down to the 3. I think that's a very likely scenario. And they say we're sitting our star players. We need to be healthy for the playoffs because we're not going through that again. They sit the players. The Rams win that game, and they still end up 12-5 or, I think 13-4 is still possible for this squad. I think 14-3 is maybe even possible for the squad, right? Like I said, they have a middle of the pack difficulty of schedule. 49ers, they'll be
Superstar
fine.
roster.
Yeah, they'll be fine, bro. And a great coach, they'll be fine. Quarterback, it's weird because you don't get these predicaments a lot where the quarterback is the question mark, but you're still guaranteed to give us 11, 12, 13 wins. But that just goes to show the talent around this squad. They'll be back in it. I'll be surprised if they're not back in the NFC Championship. I think they got like the 4th best odds to win the Super Bowl. So this will be a team to watch out for. Niners
Brock
fans.
We trust.
And Brock we trust. Niners fans, y'all know what to do. Flood the comments. Go crazy. Give us all the comments are welcome. The love, the hate. Let us know if we tripping. If y'all winning 15 games, y'all going to the Super Bowl, or if you're feeling a little pessimistic about it, right? If you're not feeling the quarterback situation, if you think Trey Lance should be starting, whatever the case may be, flood the comments. We want like 50 comments, right, Beach? Go crazy.
Tell a friend to comment and tell a friend.
Yeah.